Three.
Welcome everybody to Grapplefuck's sixth podcast. Just a quick recap of last night because there were some interesting fights. By the way, we got most of our bets right.
We did.
Unfortunately, Shahbazyan lost. I think he did well, but overall, I think they've just rushed him too quickly. And Brunson took his time, which is unusual for Brunson, and he eventually got him out of there in the third round. I think Shahbazyan needs to go back and mainly look at his ground game, but also he probably needs to work on his cardio as well because he looked quite tired in the third round and in the second round as well, to be honest. But I mean, he's only 22. What do you think about it, Andrew?
Well, in the previous podcast, we said, or I said, Shahbazyan will run through Brunson immediately in the first round, or it'll look like a completely different fight and he'll have a very hard time.
Yeah.
Turns out, he had a very hard time just against a much more experienced competitor who's a lot more well-rounded. It just gave him a whole lot more to think about and deal with. I think something that was interesting for Shahbazyan, he didn't seem to handle the adversity too well. He got cracked with a couple of big shots and he didn't seem to know really how to react.
He is very young.
Yes, of course. If you're 22,
exactly.
Cracked in the face, it's a different kind of thing. So I think, as you said, I think he just needs more time. Maybe some unranked opponents or some top 15 opponents. Leave the top 10 for, a few fights and just let them build more experience, build some confidence.
Yeah, definitely. He needs to take some time off and then get back into it. But the three fights we got right, Emma's, Green and Luque. I put money down on a Luque KO and it turned out to be correct. And your prediction was completely correct in that he hacked at his legs and then he KO'd him. It was a good knee. They had to analyze it the second time because it looked like initially when I saw it, it looked like his hands were on the ground, which would make
he was in the process of grounding himself.
Luque very, very intelligently lifted him up a bit and then kneed him. I mean, he's a beast. He's a beast. The guy's a beast.
Yeah, especially as he's getting more controlled. He's pacing himself a little bit more. So he's not just, taking 2 or 3 shots and then throwing one. So, he's looking really good. I think he's
looking very good.
A real contender now.
Yeah, and Emma's and Green, as predicted.
Yeah, Emma's against the
Hawaiian guy.
Yeah, I think that was just a mismatch.
Yeah, it was a massive mismatch.
Yeah, and the guy was far too small, 5'5" versus 5'6" versus 5'10", UFC debutant. Yeah, I mean,
extremely tough guy though. Just to say, he took some serious shots. I mean, if Amir Khan had that guy's chin, it would have been a 4-5-time world champion, mate.
But he doesn't, and he's not.
Yeah, so, he doesn't. Yeah, and then Green had this unanimous decision against Venata, again as predicted. But
I was happy about that one because that was going to be always quite a close fight. But I was happy I got that right. I made some money off that one, and Green just outclassed him a bit on the feet, just better boxing, making him miss, and was just a little bit better. So quite happy we got that one right.
You did mention his boxing and his ability to slick punches, and obviously that showed during the fight. So, I mean, overall it was an interesting card. Not the most stacked, but it's just a UFC fight night. But let's get on to the next one, which is the Sunday, the 9th of August, 2020, obviously. I believe
this is the 8th, right?
On Sunday morning. Yeah, but it'll start Sunday morning. Yeah.
So it's the 9th for us, yeah.
Yeah, it's the 9th for us. Headliner Lewis v. Oleinik. I believe it'll be a 3-round because it's a fight night. Or is it a 5-round?
I think it'll be 5 rounds simply because it's the main event.
Wasn't Shahbazyan and Thing 3-round yesterday?
Was it?
I believe so. Yeah. Sometimes they do 3-round ones for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
normally it's 5 rounds. Yeah, we'll have to look that up. But I mean, to be honest, I'll quickly give my thoughts on this. Obviously, we know Derek Lewis very well. Phenomenal KO power. 18 out of 23 wins by TKO or KO. In one of his previous fights, he had a fight with Latifi, who's a very good wrestler from Sweden, originally of Albanian descent. He's a very good wrestler. I thought he lost that fight. He got thrown around a bit. I thought he lost due to the control time, although Ilir Latifi didn't really do much with the top position. But I was very surprised at how Derek Lewis got thrown around in that fight. Now, he's got an opponent in Oleinik who's a very, very, very good grappler. Sambo, pancration, all of that, wrestling. I think he does BJJ as well. Yeah, he's a BJJ black belt too. 46 out of something ridiculous. I don't know. How many fights has he had?
He's had like 80 at this point. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. 46 out of 59 fights, 59 wins have come by submission. The guy's a submission expert. And he's submitted some very, very high-level people. However, he's very old. I think he's 43 or 44. And he's been KO'd a few times. I mean, I think analysing this, given Lewis has only lost once by sub, and Lewis is far younger, and has ridiculous KO power, I think at some point Lewis will catch him. I think Lewis will probably KO him, in my opinion. But what do you think?
It's a definite possibility. It's a definite possibility because Oleinik comes forward. He comes charging forward, these big looping hooks, and just goes for it. And I can see Derek Lewis countering and knocking him out.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that Oleinik is smaller, significantly smaller than Lewis. It doesn't help that, as you said, he's been knocked out before, I think a few times. But going back to your point about Ilir Latifi, Ilir Latifi is kind of similar to Oleinik. They're both grapplers. I think they're similar size, both slightly undersized for heavyweight. So I think if Ilir Latifi can get into the ground, hold in there, get some control time, and maybe get some shots in, I think Oleinik can win. I don't know about the submission, but we know Derek Lewis doesn't have takedown defense. We know he doesn't have a ground game. We know he doesn't know any jiu-jitsu. So if Oleinik gets him to the ground, I can see him winning. Whether it's just control time, then he gets the decision, or it's a submission. I can definitely see that happening. And if Ilir Latifi can do that, then I think Oleinik can definitely do it. But again, if he gets caught, then Derek Lewis wins.
And Lewis only needs one shot. I mean, he was losing against Volkov, and right at the end of the fight, and Volkov, another very good Russian heavyweight, right at the end of the fight, just clipped him with one shot, and it was over.
This is a tricky one. I mean, Lewis is a massive favourite, and the odds on Oleinik are really, really good. So I'm tempted. I'm not saying necessarily Oleinik will win, but I'm very tempted to bet on Oleinik here just because the odds are so good.
Well, he is coming off a two fight win streak as well. He beat Weidman in his previous fight, didn't he? Which is a good win.
He did. That is a good win. I mean, Lewis, he recently fought Blagor, Ivanov, and Latifi. He didn't KO either of them. So it's not like Lewis is knocking people out left, right, and centre.
He's KO'd a lot of people before, though.
Yeah, but at this level, when you're dealing with like top 10, top 15 in the UFC, it's not a given that he's just going to knock people out.
No, but I don't think Ilir gave him. Well, obviously, Ilir was just stuck to him like glue. I can't remember the Ivanov fight, but I'm assuming he probably had a similar game plan.
Yeah, I don't particularly remember that fight.
Ilir just did not trade with him at all.
Yeah,
and wisely so. I don't know. Yes, it's a difficult one. I just think Lewis. I think Lewis will win because I just think Oleinik's got a lot of miles on him, and Lewis is a lot younger. He's bigger. He's got serious KO power, and I think at some point in the fight, particularly if it's a 5-round fight, at some point he'll catch him with something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this is a 50-50 fight. You're right about Oleinik being old, but he really pushed the pace in his last fight against Verdum. Really pushed the pace. He was exhausted by the end of round 3, but that didn't stop him coming forward. Derek Lewis doesn't have the best cardio. He's not in the best shape. I'm going to go with Oleinik here.
Okay.
Probably by decision, but this could go either way.
Yeah, so it's a tricky one. Again, I only landed on Lewis just because I think his age and his ridiculous KO power will help him probably get him out of this one. But yeah. I mean, Oleinik's a very good fighter, extremely good fighter. He's got seriously notable wins. I mean, he beat Krokop before he joined the UFC.
Okay, did he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I believe he submitted him. So the guy is a really, really good fighter. But so you're going for Oleinik. I'm going for Lewis. But this is a tough one. And to be honest, for all the gamblers out there, I'd probably be more inclined to bet on Oleinik.
Yeah, I think this is a really good opportunity to bet on Oleinik. That there's a lot of value there, I think.
What are the odds? Have you had a look at them?
In fractional odds on William Hill, it's 23-10.
Okay.
So I bet 10 quid, you get 23. Well, you get 33 back.
What, for Oleinik?
Yeah.
And that's just a win. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, so Lewis is a heavy favourite.
Yeah. Okay.
So that one's covered. Let's move on to the co-main event. This is a very interesting one. I had to think quite a lot about this. Akhmedov v. Weidman. I'll just quickly go through both of their credentials. I mean, people are very familiar with Weidman. The All-American NCAA Division I wrestler, BJJ black belt. He's lost 5 of his last 6 fights, all by KO or TKO.
Doesn't sound good, Walid.
Does not sound good. Moving on to Akhmedov, he's won his last 5 fights and he drew against Vittori. Mainly decisions, I think. But, similar type of Sambo kind of background, that kind of region. Freestyle wrestler, Pancration gold medalist. Hasn't lost in 4 years. He has been submitted twice. We know Weidman's got good BJJ. But I think Weidman's way past it now, in my opinion. I think he's been brutally knocked out 5 times.
Well, he was struggling at middleweight, wasn't he? Then he went up to light heavyweight, lost his 2 fights at light heavyweight, and he's now coming back down. So it's a bit of a mess.
It is a mess, and this guy's very good. 2 inches shorter, but I mean, I don't think that made too much of a difference. He's 6 foot and Weidman's 6'2". I think in terms of wrestling, Weidman's probably got the edge, just about. But
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah.
That's a tricky one. Because it looks like Omari Akhmedov doesn't really use his wrestling that much. Because he's from Dagestan, right?
Yeah, he's a freestyle wrestler by background.
Yeah, so obviously his wrestling is probably very good, but he just doesn't seem to use it very much.
Maybe he doesn't need to use it. If he's on a 5-6 fight win streak, including a draw.
Yeah, it certainly seems to favour the striking, but his striking isn't very good. Obviously, it's winning him fights, but his striking is not. It's not technical boxing. It's not technical Muay Thai at all. This is a really tricky one. So if they're both wrestlers, I'd imagine maybe they're not going to try and take it to the ground. Maybe try and keep it standing because they respect each other's skill set on the ground.
Yeah, and they're both obviously BJJ is a submission martial art, and so is Sambo. So they both know how to do submissions as well.
Yeah.
I'd give that edge to Weidman as well. I think he's got probably a better overall submission grappling game. But I just think
he trains under Matt Serra and Ray Longo.
Yeah, well,
Matt Serra being a big BJJ guy, so yeah, you'd think so.
But I just think Weidman's just carrying on for too long. I think he's done, in my opinion.
This is a really tricky one. Yeah, his chin is gone.
His chin's gone. Akhmedov's got 7 KOs, but he's not really a KO guy. He's more of a decision.
Are those KOs recent? Are they in the UFC? Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, I think one of them's in the UFC, but the rest are in other organizations.
If some of those KOs were in the UFC against this kind of competition, I would bet on Omari Akhmedov all day long.
Yeah,
the KO power versus the suspect chin, you bet on that all day.
Very suspect chin.
This is just a really tricky one.
It is a tricky one.
Because you don't know whether it's going to stay on the feet. You don't know whether it's going to go to the ground. We don't know who's better on the ground. We don't know who's got the better takedowns, the better takedown defense. On the feet, I would say Weidman's got the better boxing. But yeah, I think this is impossible to call, to be honest.
It's definitely it's definitely a difficult one to call. But I would probably throw in the psychological element here. Someone coming off of 5, losing 5 of their last 6 fights, and someone winning 5 of their last 6 fights and drawing with a pretty good guy as well.
Yeah.
The psychological edge is definitely with Akhmedov.
Yeah, if you're Chris Weidman, you're probably not feeling too good about yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure why he's carrying on. I mean, if he loses this, he's done. He should just retire.
He should be done. Dana White should just say, that's it.
Go to Bellator, or something like that.
Yeah.
If you want to continue, go to another organization, because, I mean, the UFC have cut, and, it goes back to this debate. Weidman's a big name, right? He was a former champion, and, he beat some really good guys. He's a big name. People know who he is. Yeah. I mean, the UFC have cut people heavyweights for winning 2 decisions in a row. They haven't given them a new contract because they weren't exciting enough. Yeah. So if someone loses 6 of their last 7 fights, the UFC should really turn around and say, "You're done. Get out."
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of riding on this for him.
On paper, Weidman has to lose.
Yeah. I like Weidman. I like him. He's a nice guy. I don't want him to lose, but I don't know. It just looks like he's gone on a bit too long. 5 KOs in the last 6 fights. That's nasty.
That's bad,
some of those KOs were really bad.
He also got dropped by Kelvin Gastelum as well.
Oh, yeah, and then submitted him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Omari Akhmedov because of the momentum that you suggested, the suspect chin, and Omari Akhmedov decision.
Yeah, I think decision as well. I don't think he'll KO him. I don't think he can sub him, but I think he can get a decision.
Oh, shit. Carry on, Walid. I just lost my camera.
Okay, no problem. We'll move on to the next. Fight, which is Pitolo v Stewart. I believe Stewart is a Brit. So Pitolo hasn't had many fights in the UFC. Is it Pitolo?
Pitolo, yeah.
Yeah, he's won 7 of 13 fights via KO. He's lost 2. He's lost 5 fights, 2 by KO, 2 by sub, and 1 by decision. Stewart is a Brit. He's had a very odd experience in the UFC. He's won a few fights, lost a few fights. I believe his last fight was in Cage Warriors, quite oddly.
Was it?
I think so, yeah. which is
Okay.
quite weird, which suggests that he lost his contract, went to Cage Warriors, and then they've called him back.
Let me have a look at this because that's
Yeah,
interesting.
because that's very odd. I've never heard of that. Never heard of that happening.
Darren Stewart. Yeah, he's inconsistent.
Yeah,
I think that's the word to describe him.
but he's got a lot of experience in the UFC.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so he beat Darren
Yeah.
Win, then he goes to Cage Warriors, and yeah, now he's back. He actually
Yeah,
lost
Darren
that
Win
fight
is,
in Cage Warriors.
Yeah,
That should
very,
not be
very
happening.
yeah, very
Yeah.
unusual.
Yeah, so Darren Stewart, he hits really, really hard. Like, he's got serious power. His boxing, his stand-up isn't most technical, but he hits really, really hard. Like, he's knocked people down with a jab. Yeah, so it's serious power. He's good in the clinch. He's good up against the cage. He's got takedown defense. He's not a grappler, not a wrestler, not a big jiu-jitsu guy, but he can kind of neutralize the takedowns and the clinch work, which is useful.
Yeah.
Maki Pitolo is coming up a weight class. He's 5'10", and he's quite small. He's got good boxing. He's more like a volume guy rather than a heavy hitter. I like his boxing. I really like his boxing. But something about Darren Stewart and his power is quite impressive to me. Yeah, he dropped. He's Eric Spicely. He dropped with a dropped with a jab. So the way I see this fight going, neither of them are grapplers, so it's probably going to stay standing. So it's going to be power versus volume. And you never quite know. I don't know. I think given Pitolo is quite a bit smaller, and I've seen him in some fights sort of crumble slightly under pressure. He's not that, doesn't do well when faced with adversity. I think with that in mind, I think Darren Stewart can do some damage here.
Yeah, I've got Stewart down for a KO. I just think he's got a lot more experience in the UFC, and he has beat some decent guys. He's got a black belt in Taekwondo, which obviously can help with the kicks if used the right way. He's got a purple belt in BJJ, but I mean, that doesn't really mean anything. I mean, we saw a few weeks ago a purple belt choke out a black belt. So it just depends on how you utilize it with your overall grappling.
Well, if you're doing no-gi jiu-jitsu, then it's irrelevant, you know. So.
Yeah. And, you know, he beat Darren Win, who's a very good wrestler from Khabib's camp, a.k.a. So he must have, as you said, very good takedown defense.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So, yeah, I think Stewart will win this.
He also took Shahbazyan to a split decision.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So, yeah, he's inconsistent. He hasn't got, like, a perfectly well-rounded game. But, yeah, I think he wins this.
Yeah, he's a lot more experienced in the UFC.
And he's bigger. He's a big boy.
He's a big boy. He hits hard. And this guy has been KO'd before, Pitolo.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're saying knockout. What round?
I think round 2, probably.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I think you'll probably KO him, TKO him in round 2. Let's move on to the next one. This one really confused the shit out of me as well, to be honest, when analysing it. Got Beneil Darish against Holtzman. Darish, he's from a wrestling background. He wrestled in high school. He's got good ground game, decent striking, overall MMA. He's black belt in Muay Thai. He's on a 4-fight win streak. Then you've got Holtzman on the other side, brown belt in BJJ, 2-fight win streak. He's never been KO'd or subbed. He went the distance with Josh Emmett, who's a very good fighter and a friend of ours.
He is.
A friend of Grapplefuck, Josh Emmett. Big up Josh Emmett. wishing him a speedy recovery. But this, I'm really not sure about this. I mean, Darish is a very good fighter, and he's on a 4-fight win streak. But then Holtzman's on a 2-fight win streak. He's never been KO'd or subbed. Darish has been KO'd before 3 times.
Yeah,
I'm really not sure about this. I need your help with this.
I think Darish is really underrated. He's 12-4. Yeah, he's very good. He's 12-4 in the UFC. As you said, he's on a 4-fight win streak. He hasn't faced the best competition, but he's got some names on there. He's faced tougher opponents than Holtzman, I think. So these guys are both grapplers. I think Darish is the better grappler.
Yeah, well, he's originally Iranian, so he probably started wrestling at the age of 3 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they both fought Drew Dober.
Yeah.
Holtzman kind of got manhandled by Drew Dober, who isn't a big wrestler. And did they both fight Drew Dober?
I'm not sure. I know Dariush submitted him.
Yeah, they have. Okay, so Darius submitted Drew Dober, and Drew Dober basically manhandled Scott Holtzman. So I think that kind of indicates the difference in skill level. So I think Darius is a better grappler. Scott Holtzman, he hits hard, he's aggressive, but he's not that technical. Darius does have KOs. And he's got a nice mix of submissions, TKOs, and decisions, which I like.
He's well-rounded.
Just gives him lots of different ways to win.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm not quite sure how Holtzman is going to win if he does beat Dariush. What's his path to victory there? I'm just not sure. But yeah.
Yeah.
I just like Dariush here. I mean, he's beaten Anthony Rocco Martin, Drew Dober, Michael Johnson, James Vick, which are decent names.
Very good fighter. Now that you've summarised it like that, it's looking like Dariush for the win.
Yeah, I also saw sorry. Yeah, I also saw Holtzman's fights against Dong Hyun Ma, who is not the best fighter. He's not really a wrestler or a grappler. And he got Scott Holtzman down. So Scott Holtzman's takedown defense is suspect, basically. So
you can get him down very easily then.
Yes, I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
So to me, the only question is how he finishes this. I would say probably grind it out for decision.
Yeah, wrestle for 3 rounds, which he can easily do. Wrestle and grapple for 3 rounds.
Also, Scott Holtzman is 36.
How old is Dariush?
I want to say 31.
He's very young.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, Dariush is a good fighter. He is a very good fighter. After your summary, I'll probably go for Dariush as well, to be honest. I just think he's the better overall MMA fighter.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and he's riding a 4-fight win streak, which is obviously going to fill him with confidence. And just to get his ethnicity right, he's Assyrian. So for any Assyrians out there, we haven't missed this.
Assyrian.
Yeah, Assyrians are. Sorry if I'm mansplaining, but they're basically Middle Eastern Christians that live in Iraq, Iran, Syria, etc.
Good knowledge. A very warlike race, apparently.
Assyrians.
Historically.
Yeah. Assyrians are hard people, very hard people. Let's go with Dariush.
Yeah.
I think Dariush as well. So leads us to our last fight that we're covering. Afghan Gastelum is back against a debutant called Alex Munhoz. I'm assuming that's a Spanish name.
Well, once again, you've completely butchered a Spanish name.
How do you pronounce that?
Munhoz.
Munhoz. Just to
Munhoz.
make it clear to the viewers, Andrew has lived in Spain before, so he's a bit better with he's a lot better than with the Spanish names. I'm like the Joey Diaz of names for some reason.
You are, yeah.
I'm just fucking names up left, right, and centre. But I'm very good with the names from Central Asia and the Caucasus.
Remarkably good, yeah.
Remarkably
it's very
good.
strange.
I get those spot on, but I'll fuck something very simple up.
Like Reese McKee, yeah. That's a
Yeah.
Reese McKee.
Black letters.
Yeah.
No, Joey Diaz is still slightly worse than me. Kalabib.
Magumbo, yeah. That was a good one. That's my favourite, Magumbo. But we all know who he's talking about.
Yeah, we
We
do.
know exactly who he's talking about.
I want to let him blow out the candles on my birthday. But yeah, let's move on. So we've got Afghan Gastelum back again. He got KO'd in his last fight. The thing with Afghan Gastelum is, I've done some research into his background. He's from a Muay Thai background, but I'm really not sure about his ground game. I'm just wondering what you've come across in that. I don't think he does BJJ. If he does BJJ, it's definitely no-gi because he hasn't got a belt in anything. I know he's been working with Mark Madsen, who's a Danish 3-time Olympian. He's been working with him for the last 3-4 months.
Olympian in what? Wrestling?
Wrestling. He's also in the UFC. He's won 2 fights in the UFC.
Okay.
He came 4th in the London 2012 Olympics. Yeah, he lost to a Russian guy who went on to win the silver or the gold, something like that. I can't remember.
Okay.
But he competed in the Olympics 3 times. So he's a very high-level wrestler in terms of the UFC. He's been working with him for the last 3-4 months. I mean, what we do know about Haqparast is he's very young. He's 24. He's been rushed as well, in my opinion, similar to Shahbazyan. He's not as well known as Shahbazyan, but he went from fighting people with 10 to 12, 15 fights in their resume to fighting Drew Dober, who's had over 30 fights, which in my opinion probably wasn't the best progression for him.
Yeah.
What he does have is he's had 5 fights in the UFC. He's won 3. His first fight in the UFC took an 11 days notice, was a very, very close fight. The guy got a unanimous decision win. Marcin Held from Poland, who's a very good grappler. He controlled Haqparast on the ground, but Haqparast did knock him down in round 2. So, I mean, what we know about Haqparast is he's got that left hand. He's KO'd 9 out of 11 people. 9 out of 11 people in terms of wins. He's KO'd someone in the UFC. He's knocked Casey down twice. He's knocked Held down. He knocked T-Bow down. He's got very, 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 very good power. I'm just not sure about his ground game. And this Munhoz guy is Munhoz? Sorry?
Munhoz.
This Munhoz guy, from what I can see from the clips that I've seen, looks like a very good wrestler.
The trouble is there's very little footage of him, at least that I found.
From the clips that I've seen, he looks like a good wrestler. I mean, he was throwing people around, controlling them, getting people against the cage.
In fights?
In fights, yeah.
Okay. I've really struggled to find the footage of him.
So he's come through for the Dana White's Contender Series.
Did you see that fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, he fought Nick Newell.
Yeah.
The guy with one arm. Well, that's amazing to me. Like he fought a guy with one arm.
I don't want to go there, but yeah, he fought Nick.
I mean, it's remarkable.
Exactly. It's tough as shit. How did he get his arm, by the way? What is he, ex-army or?
Oh, he's born without it. Like his arm goes down to here. He just was born without most of his forearm and hand. But he still fucks people up. He kicked the shit out of us, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but yeah, that's an interesting fight. I mean, the fact that that's like his biggest fight so far. because that's the Dana White Contender Series. Before that, he's in the local regional promotions.
Yeah, shit circuits. It's not like LFA or anything, like unknown circuits.
Correct, yeah. So his toughest fight is a guy with one arm. So, yeah, I mean, respecting Nick Newell, like he does very well, considering he's got one arm, but he's still only got one arm. So I just haven't been able to learn that much about Munhoz. He got Nick Newell to the ground. He did what looked like some really nice jiu-jitsu. He looks to have like a really decent ground game. Maybe not, you know, elite, but certainly good. He's got decent boxing. He's a counter striker. He hits hard, like he knocks people out. So I look at his skill set, and you know, it's really good. He's well rounded. He looks good everywhere. It's just the level of competition just isn't there for me to say, yeah, he can win at this level.
No, I think Haqparast will probably KO him within the 3 rounds.
I'm not sure. If Haqparast has no takedown defense or very limited,
he does have takedown defense. His takedown defense is decent. The thing I don't know about Haqparast is where's his BJJ at? I'm not sure, because he's just KO'd so many people, like quite similar to Shahbazyan. You know, just this KO run, and he TKO'd a very good Russian before he got to the UFC. Then he got to the UFC, took this fight on 11 days' notice against Held, knocked him down as well, and then he went on to basically batter 2 guys and then KO the 3rd guy, and then he got KO'd himself. So I'm not sure how good he is on the ground. And typically, I know obviously people think all Central Asians are good wrestlers, but Afghanistan does not have a wrestling base. It's a common misconception that they do. They don't have a wrestling base.
Yep.
40 years of conflict. And, you know, people will say, well, he moved to Germany or was born in Germany. Again, Germany has no wrestling base.
No.
Has no fighting base, let alone wrestling base.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
They've got no fighting base.
Yeah, no boxing, no Muay Thai, no nothing.
Nothing, zero. So I'm not sure how good he is on the ground. However, he hits fucking hard. And he works with very good people. So you mentioned Darish. Darish is a partner of his. He's got GSP in his corner. He's got Zahabi in his corner. He's been training with Mark Madsen for the last 4 or 5 months. I mean, I know Munhoz is, I'm just going to call him Alex. I know Alex is coming from Team Alpha Male, but does he have the experience, and has he worked with the same kind of people that Haqparast has worked with? And I think Ali Abdelaziz has given him this fight on purpose, because he knows Haqparast got battered in his last fight. He's only 24, and he's given him a fight where he can build his confidence back up again, in my opinion. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Which is probably what's going to happen with Shahbazyan. He's probably going to get like a top 20, top 25 guy. He's probably going to beat him, and then they're going to start working on his flaws.
Yeah.
So I think, I mean, Haqparast's been working hard, and he's got 5 fights in the UFC, and before that he was in a decent European circuit. He had 1 fight against a very tough Russian dude. I just think he's too experienced for Alex now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I just like to know more about their respective ground games, because that's probably going to be, that could be the differentiator here.
That could be the I mean, Held with Haqparast, I mean, this was 2 years ago now, but Held did kind of throw him around a bit. But Held is a very good grappler from Poland.
Yeah.
Haqparast did stuff a few of his takedowns as well, but I just can't figure out how good Haqparast is on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if we have to make a decision, I would go with Haqparast, simply because he's got 3 wins in the UFC. We know he's got really heavy hands, really good boxing, and there's just a massive difference in experience here. So
yeah, he's had 14 fights now. This guy's had 6.
Yeah. 6 fights is not enough to be coming into the UFC.
No, it's not. It's not.
but I wouldn't bet on this.
Yeah, I'd probably.
I mean, I don't know.
I'd probably bet like maybe a small amount of money for Haqparast to win, but I wouldn't want to say how, because Haqparast has won decisions before as well, against Diakazi and against Tebow. He just knocked him around for 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I go back and watch Haqparast's old fights and I see that he's got decent takedown defense, then I might bet on Haqparast. If it's completely useless, which you said it isn't, but let's say it is.
No, it's not completely useless, but again, I wouldn't say he's got high level ground game.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, clearly Zahabi has worked it out, and he's made him work with this Olympic wrestler for the last 3-4 months.
Well, Zahabi, his gym is a grappling, focused gym,
and he's going to have Zahabi in his corner. So,
Haqparast. It's got to be Haqparast,
I think Haqparast will win. I think this is a build up his confidence fight for him. He's 24. He got pushed too quickly. And I think they're going to give him this guy. He'll probably win this. And then they're probably going to look at some top 40 guy and go from there. But I mean, you know, if he wants to become a contender, I think with Haqparast, I think he's going to be one of those gatekeepers that we always talk about. I think he can get to that level. He can get to top 30, work on his ground game, and then if anyone comes across this guy and they don't have a particular skill set, he can KO them. I'm not sure if he can get into the top 15 because this division is so fucking stacked. So stacked.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got Islam Makhachev at 15, for God's sake. Islam fucking Makhachev. Yeah. Like, it's just a ridiculous division.
It is. Yeah, they push these guys too soon. It's like a perennial problem.
Yeah, they do.
They do this all the time. Like it ruins Sage Northcutt. I don't know if Sage Northcutt ever had the talent to really make it to the top 10, but he was certainly pushed far too soon.
Well, Sage Northcutt got beaten by a guy that Haqparast beat very, very easily.
Oh, okay.
Tebow, or whatever his name is.
Oh, Gleason Tebow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not Tebow. It's Tebow. Some French dude beat Sage Northcutt, beat him up over 3 rounds, and Haqparast beat him up really, really badly. Knocked him down twice. He's bleeding from his face. Nose was broken. So yeah, I think Sage Northcutt, you know, he had the look, the 6-pack, looks like a Ken doll. You know, he's very marketable. And I, as you said, I don't think he ever really had the talent to be a top 15, top 20, top 30 guy, which is why he went off to one championship and then he got his jaw broken.
Yeah, he didn't just have his jaw broken. Like he had, I think the whole side of his face was just smashed into multiple pieces.
Yeah.
It was horrific. I don't think he's had a fight since then. Poor guy.
The guy who smashed his whole face got fucked up by Nicky Holtzman, the Dutch kickboxer.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's one of the best kickboxers in the world. He ruined that guy.
In MMA or kickboxing?
I think kickboxing. Pure.
Okay.
You know, one championship does Muay Thai, kickboxing, and MMA. So I think that guy went back to kickboxing, and then had a fight with Nicky Holtzman, and he got fucking ruined.
Yeah.
Like, he beat the shit out of him.
I need to watch that.
Yeah, you should watch it. You really beat the shit out of him. But yeah, I mean, those are the fights we're covering. I mean, to be honest, this card's decent, but I'm just jizzing all over the place over the 15th of August card, mate. That is going to be serious.
That's a big card, yeah.
That's a huge card.
Yeah, so just remind us who we've got. We've got the rematch between Stiopic and DC.
That crazy bastard from Cleveland. Immigrant mentality, according to Joey Diaz.
Yeah.
Even though he was born in America. But let me check this quickly. We've got, what have we got here? We've got UFC 252. Stiopic v Daniel Cormier. We've got Junior Dos Santos v Rosenstruik.
That's an interesting one.
That's an interesting one. We've got Magomed Ankalaev v that crazy, I believe is Romanian, Kutleba.
Jon Kutleba.
Previously,
Yeah.
and it was argued that it got stopped too quickly or whatever.
Okay. I don't remember that one.
Yeah, so basically what happened was Ankalaev hit him, I believe it was a left kick to the face, and he started kind of remember? And then the referee stopped it.
Yeah, he was
like, oh, but I was kind of playing.
Yeah.
He was. I think he got hurt.
Yeah, I remember that. That was recently. Yeah, it was a bullshit stoppage. As far as I saw.
Stoppage. Yeah, it was a bullshit stoppage. Definitely have to fight again. Then we got Pedro Munhoz against Frankie Edgar. Fucking another great fight. We've got Sean O'Malley against Marlon Vera. Mate.
So that's sorry to interrupt. That's Frankie Edgar going down to
135, I believe.
Bantamweight, yeah.
Yeah.
That's his first fight. That's a sensible move. That could reinvigorate his career. Although Bantamweight has just got a whole lot harder recently.
Yeah, Frankie Edgar's a beast.
Yeah, he's one of these guys. He's had like an awful lot of wins.
Yeah, he's a beast.
He just didn't get the right wins at the right time, unfortunately.
And then we've got Sean O'Malley against Marlon Vera as the fifth fight at Bantamweight.
Presumably Sean O'Malley is just going to ruin Marlon Vera.
Yeah, probably. I mean...
I don't like Marlon Vera. I don't think he's very good.
Yeah, Sean O'Malley's an interesting one. I think Dana's identified something with him, and they need to take him up the right way, because he's very, very popular.
Yes,
extremely popular.
I don't understand why he's popular, because he doesn't really say anything. Like he's very quiet.
It's the hair, it's the KOs. You know, he's a friend of Snoop Dogg's. He's got a lot of followers on Instagram. He's become popular for some reason. I mean, to be honest, I don't find him particularly interesting. I don't think he says anything interesting. He's got a very weird voice, in my opinion.
I think he's a weird guy, like a bit of a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah. He's made some stupid call-outs as well. I mean, you have to do that to build Instagram follow. I mean, call out, what's that Russian bear's name that just won them? Peter Yan, he's called out Aljamain, he's called out basically the whole division.
Could be another hype train, man. He hasn't really faced anybody too decent.
Yeah, but as you said, Marlon Vera, is he actually really that good?
Not really.
Yeah, you'd probably KO him. But yeah, no, this is serious. And I can't see the prelims.
Yeah, they're not out yet.
They'll be up soon.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a solid main event.
Yeah, JDS versus Rosenstruy, that's an interesting one. Because JDS is very good, but not what he was.
No.
I think he's got a well-rounded skill set, hits hard, he's got jiu-jitsu, he's got nice leg kicks, he's very well-rounded. Yeah.
Than Rosenstruy.
But Rosenstruy is one of these guys, like, again, like Derek Lewis, he can lose the whole fight, then the last minute just knock you out.
Yeah, with over him.
Yeah, not just knock you out, just like tear a massive hole in your face. I mean, that's terrifying power.
Yeah. And again, he got pushed too soon.
Oh, for sure.
He got pushed way too soon.
For sure.
I mean, you're just because you beat over him, you're gonna go up against fucking Ngannou, or as Joey Diaz says, Magumbo. Yeah.
Yeah, Magumbo ruined him. I actually bet on Rosenstruy there as a value bet, but in hindsight, no.
Bad move, mate.
Bad move. Yeah. Bad move.
I don't think anyone can give Ngannou problems apart from DC and Stipe. I think anyone else he goes up against is getting fucking KO'd very early. Unless
you have a very good wrestling game, you're getting fucked up. That's it.
Who's got a very good wrestling game at heavyweight?
Nobody. I mean, DC, Stipe, Stiopic has a half-decent wrestling game.
Yeah.
I think that's about it.
That's about it. I mean,
heavyweight sucks, man. Heavyweight sucks. Like
heavyweight shit. Yeah, it's just
like, the depth of talent is so low.
Yeah.
I saw who's that fat guy? Is that like Junior Albini? Not Junior Albini. That Japanese Brazilian guy, like really fat.
Was it fight we watched the other week when we were saying how fat is this guy, and then the commentator said he was 160 pounds or something. No, he was 160 kilos at 13 years old or some shit.
Yeah, not him, but yeah, that just says it all about heavyweight. Yeah,
yeah. I was like, what?
You're a professional athlete, and yet you're obese.
Yeah, exactly.
Morbidly obese. I mean, where's your discipline? Where's your dignity? Where's your self-respect? Like, you train every day. How are you obese?
Exactly.
But yeah, heavyweight sucks. But
no, heavyweight shit. It's good for KOs though. It's good for entertainment.
It's always entertaining, but yeah.
It's very entertaining because someone always gets KO'd pretty much.
Augusto Sakai, that's the guy I was thinking of. Augusto Sakai is ranked number 9. And he's terrible.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. The top 15 in heavyweight's a joke. I think there's only 30 heavyweights anyway.
Yeah.
30, 35 heavyweights maybe?
Something like that. I mean, the UFC is desperate for heavyweights. If you and I were 6'4" and we weighed 265 pounds, we would fucking smash it. Yeah? It's like, immediately top 15. Yeah. But of course, yeah, you get to like the top 5 and then it all suddenly changes. It's terrifying.
Yeah. Top 5 is a different league.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's it really. So here, just to clarify, I've got Stipe, you've got Cormier.
I've got to go with Cormier because he's going to bring his wrestling shoes. He's going to pick him up again. And yeah, I think DC is just going to get him to the ground. Yeah, and win. And I don't think Stipe's boxing is good enough, to be honest.
It's Stiopic.
Stiopic, sorry. Stiopic. But yeah, you think Stiopic's going to win, but how?
Stiopic's going to KO Cormier.
KO Cormier? Cormier hasn't been KO'd, I don't think, apart from that one leg kick from John Jones.
We KO'd him last time, didn't he? TKO KO.
Oh, yeah, of course he did. Yeah. Yeah. Good point, well made.
Forget about that fight.
Yeah.
He dug to his body and then he...
It's a selective memory, yeah.
But
DC was having a lot of success early on. Before Stiopic made the adjustments with the body shots, he was winning the striking game.
He was, yeah. I just think Stiopic will... Joey Diaz fucking cracks me up, dude. He just goes there's one interview, he's on Joe Rogan, he's like, the black guy at 170. He goes, Tyrone. You mean Tyrone? Yeah. He goes, no, Tyrone. He's terrible. I don't know. I've just got, again, I get these stupid feelings sometimes. I've just got a feeling he's just going to, on paper, he should, if Cormier is saying he's going to wrestle, he should win. But I've just got a feeling that Stiopic's going to KO him.
It can happen.
Yeah,
it can happen.
Serious power. Serious power. And the guy is, he's KO'd so many people, man. Overeem, Werdum.
Yeah.
You see, it's not something unusual for him. So, yeah.
Close fight.
A very close fight. Interesting card. But I think that's it, really. That's the summary for August the 8th. And then we will be doing a bigger podcast for August the 15th because that's a massive card. And just want to say thank you to all the viewers. Thank you for to all the Instagram followers. Our Instagram page is really, really blowing up now at the moment, to be honest. We've had shout-outs from Ariel Hawani, Takashi, various boxers. Ami Al-Bazi liked some of our commentary the other day. So it's getting there. Mahmoud Muradov from Uzbekistan. He's Floyd Mayweather's UFC fighter. He liked one of our comments. So yeah, it's really taking
off, man. It's kicking off.
GrappleFK_media, guys. Follow on Instagram and follow us on YouTube as well.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is AndrewGrappleF1.
There you go. Finally, we got Twitter up as well. But not sure about TikTok at the moment, although Andrew is on it.
Yeah, I need to get back on that. It's just really hard to try and to fit 5 fight predictions into 60 seconds. That's really hard.
Yeah, I just did it on normal camera the other day and stuck it on Instagram. So if anyone wants to check that out, but that was about previous card. But we could do it again. We'll probably do a few smaller videos to recap everything we've gone through. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and sign up. Revolution's happening. We've got a logo coming soon as well. It's going to be the best bloody logo you've ever seen.
Well, we're all waiting.
Amazing.
I hope
and
so.
If anyone says something to go against that, it's fake news. But yeah, all right. Take care, everybody.
Bye.